Boys, are you ready for the biggest event of the year? Cricket Carnival Chutney Fest 2022, live Friday, September 16th at the Port Moran Community Centre ground with Chutney sensations Ravi B, Terry Gadraj, K.I., Vikari Singh, Tony Kurtz, Sonia Singh, Vinita Willie, Kevin Singh, Bunty Singh, and others. All backed by Shakti Strings International Band, the best of chutney music. General admission $2,000, stagefront $5,000. Tickets available at A. Alliance and General Store, St. Paul's Service Station, Danzy's Fashion Gallery, New Amsterdam, Food Court, Albion Public Road, Spready's Bakery, NTN Television, Port Morant, Punai's Pharmacy, Rose Hall Town, St. Paul's Service Station, Curverton, and Classic Hotel, Crabwood Creek. Pick up your tickets today. Cricket Carnival Chutney Fest 2022, Friday, September 16th at the Port Morant Community Centre ground. Event brought to you by the Cricket Carnival Committee. Log on to cricketcarnival592.com for more details. Your MC, WRES.
If you see her poor, why not swing it your way?
Soca meets dancehall just got bigger with dancehall's newest superstar, Skilly Bang, and the king of soca, Marshall Montano. And if that wasn't enough, we just added the queen of dancehall, Spice.
I know you like the way I came down to the sheet.
One stage, one night only. 3 of the Caribbean's most energetic performers. It will be an experience like no other. Tune after tune, hit after hit. Marshall, Spice, Skilly, and many more. Live at the Guyana National Stadium on Saturday, 1st of October. Early bird tickets, general $5,000. Stage front, $150 USD. Brought to you by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Ministry of Tourism, and the Cricket Carnival Committee.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening, you're listening to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith with your nightly newscast. The Ministry of Natural Resources on Wednesday approved the local content master plans of Tier 1 contractors, SBM Offshore and Halliburton, among others, which are operating in Guyana's oil and gas sector. The signing, which took place in the boardroom of the Ministry of Natural Resources head office in Kingston, Georgetown, comes on the heels of a newly proposed modification by the local content secretariat. This amendment, which is included in the 5-year local content plan and is enforceable by law, will now see contractors and subcontractors operating in the nation's petroleum sector issuing payments to Guyanese suppliers within 30 to 45 days following the receipt of a correct invoice. And one day after the lawyer for Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom filed a private criminal charge against Crime Chief Randall Blanham, the Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimar Alihak, on Thursday discontinued it. On Wednesday, when Bascom appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts to answer to 3 cybercrime charges, he filed a similar charge against Blanham. That charge states that on August 17th, at the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters, Blanham used a computer system to transmit electronic data with intent to humiliate, harass, or cause substantial emotional distress to Bascom. And 6 persons who are accused of carting off with $13.4 million in cash and $6 million in checks from the GTT store at the Gippsland Mall on September 8 were on Thursday charged and remanded to prison for the crime. The accused, 25-year-old Andrea Dover, 30-year-old Percy Roberts, 27-year-old Ashley Mansfield, 24-year-old Jamal Haley, 24-year-old Ryan Goodluck, and 39-year-old Osmond Brummel, all made their first court appearance at the Sparrowdam Magistrates Court yesterday before Magistrate Alicia George. The defendants pleaded not guilty to the charge and were then remanded to prison and are all expected to reappear in court on October 26th. And a sand truck driven by a supply Mahaica East Coast Demerara man early Thursday morning slammed into a vehicle of city businessman Nigel Cush, killing him instantly after jumping the red light at the Mandela Avenue and Cemetery Road junction. The truck driver, Aslam Masood, then lied to police that it was Cush who jumped the red light, although CCTV footage showed otherwise. The impact pushed Cush's vehicle into the traffic signal pole. Reports are that part of his body ended up on the bonnet of the vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene. And after spending 10 years on remand for the murder of his wife, who was found buried in the sand of an unfinished bathroom at his Melanie Damishana home, 74-year-old Gordon Leslie Durant will be spending 4 more years behind bars for the crime. It was between June 26, 2012 and June 28, 2012 at Melanie Damishana on the east coast of Demerara when a 50-year-old Joan Durant lost her life. Her husband was arraigned for murder, to which he denied and opted to plead guilty to the lesser count of manslaughter. According to reports, one of Joan's sons had reported her missing on June 26, 2012, and 2 days later, her husband confessed to the police and led them to where he buried his wife. Joan's decomposed body was discovered in the unfinished house covered in sand. And to wrap things up, 25 contractors from the village of Buxton were awarded contracts to rehabilitate 25 bridges in the community to the tune of $56 million. The upgrade is a commitment made by the government following a ministerial community outreach back in July. Minister Juan Edgell said the project is a demonstration of the government's pledge to bring development across the country. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at 19 hours 20 is The Glenn Lal Show.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
It's Friday, September 16th. Thank God it's Friday.